Amazon and Walmart are allegedly considering stablecoins, and I, for one, cannot wait for Bezos coin to be an Amazon Prime exclusive. But more on that in a second. Welcome to Cryptocurrents, the weekly podcast of people working in crypto talking about everything you need to know in crypto. Think of us like that wonderful rotating handle at your favorite beer bar. Each week, we're serving up something delicious and fun, and hey, you might even be able to talk to a pretty woman. I'm your host, Vince, and today I'm joined by resident pretty woman, Katya from the Mew team,
Hello.
and our resident degen, Kale.
I thought I was going to be resident pretty woman.
I know.
Oh,
I didn't want to assume your gender because I'm kind like that in
Damn.
2025. I know. Well, we'll talk about this stablecoin in a bit, but I want to start off with like what's fun and interesting, which is Pump.fun. So they just had their ICO. Kale, talk to me about how it went.
Well, it was chaotic, as you might imagine. It went pretty much along the lines of like how 90% of crypto launches go these days. For like the first 15-ish minutes, it was up only as far as the chart. And I think like probably less than 10% of people who wanted to participate in the ICO actually got to participate. It was mostly like snipers, bots, etc.
Mhm.
So after 15 minutes, price started dumping, and that's when the real accumulation began. People started buying in, blah blah blah. And at this point, the price is like starting to recover, come back up. It's not like all down, but yeah, it was chaotic. It was hectic. Not a lot of people got to participate in the launch of it, but got in afterwards. So I don't know. It's overall just a normal crypto launch, super chaotic.
Yeah. And do you think that this is something that people are going to continue to be interested in, or was this just in Pump.fun fashion, a pump a dump situation, and
I
hooray for
think
airdrops and free money printed out of thin air?
I think it has legs. I think that Pump Fun has built a pretty strong moat as far as like where people go for like on-chain betting and everything that they offer. So yeah, it is interesting. I do think that it'll continue to have success over time. But yeah, just launches are just like this, very chaotic, super volatile.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of true. But I wonder, does it have to be that way? I wonder why, crypto is specifically so subjected to these bots and all of this stuff. Like in my head, I feel like you could like do an ICO that's gated by smart contracts. So like things are actually like taken care of ahead of time. And then it's like, cool, we flip the switch, the smart contracts execute, and it's not an absolute disaster.
Yeah, dude, honestly, that's very mature of you to say. I like never, that's never even crossed my mind before, but like that's such a good idea. Like why not? I feel like it's definitely possible. Now that you mention it, I'm sure like that'll be a thing in the future. Because yeah, it seems very possible to do on chain. I'm not sure why we don't do that at this point. Probably just crypto people being greedy. It's like a part of our culture at this point. But yeah, I mean it can change. I don't see why
Yeah.
not.
Katia, talk to me about this ICO. I know you were shocked that everyone was using the term ICO, and I agree. But what are your thoughts and feelings on it all?
well, I mean, I think how, what you guys were just talking about in terms of ICOs started, you know, 8 years ago. 8 years ago, but I don't know when the first ICO was, but I know the peak was in 2018, but they started earlier than that. So, and we have this tool, this great tool, the smart contract, that is the basis of everything fascinating and amazing that happened in crypto since Ethereum launched 10 years ago. So we've had a lot of time to get this right. There's been a lot of practice,
Yeah.
starting with the ICOs and with all the token launches that it seems like several are happening each week. Not all of them are as loud as Pump Fun, as big, but they do happen. And yeah, I do believe that it's, I don't know, maybe this is like a feminist take. I don't know. But it's one of those like if he wanted to, he would. Like if they wanted to, they could do it without the chaos, without the greedy allocation, without the questionable allocation, uh, with either via smart contracts or some other way. So I think, I mean, I didn't expect anything different. I mean, come on, it's called Pump Fun.
True.
Like the pump is in the name.
Yeah.
And it's been through A couple of scandals in the past year. So I wasn't expecting anything different from the launch, but it is regretful, I think, that the crypto companies have these amazing tools, these token launches, which is not something that used to exist before crypto, the smart contracts, which is not something that used to exist. And we are not using them at all. We are just doing more of the same, like the pump, the rug, all of that.
Yeah,
Not a good look.
it does feel like this is kind of the trap of crypto iteration instead of innovation. Because you're right, like we could solve all these problems, and we're just not. And I wonder if it's because the incentives are not aligned, or it's because we don't want to, or if we actually are just like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. Like, because there is a bit of a laissez-faire, hands-off attitude when it comes to crypto, which is a bummer. But it was interesting because I did get the alert on my Coinbase app that you could trade Pump on Coinbase, which they've really kind of like leaned into the ape-in notifications, which I've always kind of been surprised about. They're like, the Trump coin was available, and they're immediately like blasting it to everyone. I'm like, okay, calm
Coinbase
down.
was?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Coinbase and Robinhood. I think Robinhood beat them to trading Trump. And then Coinbase had it about 6 hours later during that launch.
You're the degen, dude.
It really is. And speaking of Coinbase, so we are recording this on the 16th of July for the Europeans out there in the world. You're like, what is the 16th month? And Coinbase is teeing up for a big announcement this afternoon. There's kind of been no hints about what it is, but I want to do some wild speculation. Let's kind of see what you guys are thinking this announcement might be that Coinbase is doing, and then we'll see if we're right. And we can address that next week, and I think that might be really fun. Katya, what are your thoughts?
So the latest, at least the latest tweet that I saw, elaborated a little bit, I guess, because it said base is evolving. Day one, it's going to be day one, new day. So I think before they weren't saying anything. It was just some announcement, and now base is evolving. So I think it's going to be about base specifically. I'm not sure how it's evolving because we talked about base on the podcast before, and
It's
our
turning
thoughts.
into a Raichu. That's what's going to happen. Base is turning into a Raichu.
So I don't know if they are trying to reposition and pivot from people shaving their head on live Twitter or whatever it is and trying to do it a little different. I was saying earlier to you guys, maybe they're firing Jesse on live television or something. But I don't know. I hope it's something cool because we've seen a lot of splashy things that were just a rebrand, really. And then they're like, no, it's not a rebrand. You see a rebrand and it's not a rebrand. They literally
What's the
rename
second
a
half of
thing.
that joke? It's not a rebrand. It's a. I can't remember. You made that joke, and it was a great joke. But
Me?
yeah,
I don't even remember.
we were talking. Man, I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, so it's just, I hope it's not something like now the Coinbase wallet is going to be Coinbase all or something, and that's
I mean, they could go the PFA route.
That's going to be the news. So I don't know. I'm hoping. I was trying to look for the news today, and something else that I saw is that apparently Coinbase and Ripple and MoonPay have teamed up with California's governor of all places, to do something about on-chain, on optimizing governance. And I'm like, wow, this conversation is like 5 years old. The blockchain will solve this conversation, but they're going back to it in earnest. But I think it's ironic that it's California, where you can't use half of Coinbase stuff in California. So I don't know, maybe now you will be able to. But yeah, but that's not the news. So I don't know if it's related, but that wasn't the news. That was today's news, yesterday's news, literally, not the announcement that we're expecting today. So I don't know.
That's so interesting. Wait, so the thing implied that like the state of California is going to start
Correct.
using blockchain technology somehow?
Yes, for
Interesting.
government things, for human resource something, but it's with the governor. Newsom is splashed all over the news. And I mean, there's serious players, Ripple and Coinbase and MoonPay. They're some of the biggest players in crypto, and MoonPay is an on-ramper, so I don't know how that plays into it. So obviously it's not just blockchain in the background, it's something having to do with on-ramping, off-ramping. It will be some kind of payments and coin action going on. So I don't know, but I wonder if the news today has to do with that, but I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay, so Team Rocket over here is evolving Pikachu using a Thunderstone. Kale, what do you think Coinbase is going to do?
I mean, you pretty much laid it out. It's Raichu era. I think that okay, so the first tweet that I saw that mentioned anything about this was coming from Coinbase Wallet, and they
Right.
completely X'd out. They put like a line through their name on Twitter, and they said to be announced. So it's like,
Oh, right.
we're not Coinbase Wallet
crossed out.
anymore. Yeah, we're to be announced on July 16th. And then I saw the base announcement, and then I saw them promoting it from their main Coinbase account. And now I'm hearing about this California thing where they're linking up with XRP or Ripple or whatever. So I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, what it sounds like is they're trying to create some kind of super all-in-one finance app, like we've been talking about the past few episodes.
Which would track with everything else.
Exactly. And like Robinhood just dropped perps and all of those things like last week. So if I had to guess, like Coinbase is probably going to do something like that, like announce it in a few hours. Yo, screw Robinhood. We got perps. We got a L2. We got a wallet, and they're probably going to turn it all into one big app, if I had to guess.
Interesting. So my guess is that they're just going to offer tokenized stocks for immediate purchase.
On Base.
On using Base Chain, just like Robinhood is going to use Robinhood Chain, but they're going to be like, and you can start doing it right now, instead of like, here it is in the fall. I feel like
And
they're
they're
going to
real
try.
stocks.
Maybe. We'll find out. It could all just be BS. I don't know. Because I feel like from a tech standpoint, I have seen no indication that they're going to try and like combine all these things into a PFA where you're doing everything all in one. I mean, Coinbase is a mover, but they are not a first mover when it comes to tech. Their apps have not changed in a long time. And I don't expect them to just be like, and everything all at once, here we go. So that's kind of where my head's at. I think they're just going to be like, cool, you can do what Robinhood is promising that you can do in a few months right now. Because it's going to have to be across all of their platforms. And so if Base is powering both this on-chain trading via the Coinbase app and the wallets, I can see you throwing all of your brands at it in a meaningful way. But that does also, and then I'm going to have to do some research on this or have one of you guys do some research on this. So a bunch of different like swap partners and stuff have talked about tokenized assets, real world assets like stocks. How many of those have actually been traded? Like, since it's all on chain, we should be able to find like, oh yeah, we've seen XYZ volume of like tokenized stocks traded. I would be intrigued to see if people are actually doing that.
I'm sure we can find those numbers somewhere. You know what I read though recently about the X stocks coming on chain is that there's somebody in TradFi who was like complaining about it, saying that actually the way that you guys are doing X stocks on chain is technically illegal, and we haven't figured out the right way to do it yet. So if you're trading X stocks, like just be warned, you might get in trouble.
Which is the same point I think OpenAI was making in their commentary.
probably,
They are
yeah.
like, this is not an actual real thing. It's a separate thing, and you're welcome to it, but it's not the stock. But I guess saying that it's illegal is even more fun.
Yeah. So speaking of the government, let's actually talk a little bit more about Gavin Newsom and California teaming up with these heavy players in light of the Genius bill, the crypto bill, because we're in the midst of quote unquote crypto week, just passed the House after not passing the House yesterday with all the Democrats voting no. So I'm intrigued by both of these things. So with Gavin Newsom, for me, it's a no-brainer. He is gearing up to go toe-to-toe with the Republicans as the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party, in 4 years. And I think that he's trying to do this as a meaningful partnership with these companies with meaningful action in the crypto space, rather than just being like, here's a meme coin. He's like, so I'm not just grifting people. I'm not like Trump. I'm doing XYZ that is actual technology, that is actual innovation and actual blockchain. And then, of course, with the Stables Act and the Genius bill, which, horrendous naming on all these bills. I'm not surprised that it didn't pass first muster. I am surprised it got through the second time. I thought they would drag this out a lot longer, but it's interesting to see. What are you guys' thoughts and feelings on both the federal government and California?
So there's 3 acts, and I think all 3 of them passed. So the Genius Act, which is the stablecoin regulation bill, the Clarity Act, which I believe establishes how certain cryptocurrencies are treated as commodities, which started a long time ago. There was a lot of conversation whether ETH is a commodity or not. And the Anti-CBDC Act, which prevents the government from issuing their own stablecoin, which is super interesting. And the gist of that act is that if a government issued a stablecoin, and that stablecoin would replace, let's say, in circulation, the dollar or the digital, that would make complete surveillance of all transactions possible. Which, yes, the answer is yes, that would happen. So I think the Anti-CBDC Act says governments can do. And if it passed, that's kind of a big deal, that preventing the government. I don't know if it will actually, obviously, I
Make it
haven't
a law? I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah. But and my understanding is that all the Democrats voted against it. Most of the Republicans voted for it, but some didn't because they have objections to it. And those were the ones that Trump ultimately flipped in the end. It was such a drama. Like, it didn't pass, and then they were saying they're going to vote again, and then no, they're not going to vote again. And then he got people into the Oval Office, and yes, they are going to vote again. And like half an hour ago, it passed. They passed. So a lot of drama, but yeah, it's interesting to me that I do find the argument, if true, of those people who voted against it, that they don't want Trump to be able to take advantage of it because he's an investor in stablecoins. He has the USD1 coin, and that is the mother of all conflicts of interest with the president having a stablecoin. So I do find that argument compelling. So I think we are entering, and with Newsom, I agree with you, Vince, that there's a play there. And I think we're entering a time that is even more confusing than the Trump election was in terms of, for voters who are pro crypto for all kinds of reasons, to figure out who where the real support for crypto is that is meaningful to them and that can make a change to them, as opposed to just voting for a pro crypto candidate because he's pro crypto. Well, now there will be more nuance because there will be candidates who are pro crypto in different flavors. And so I think there's a lot of room for content creators and the crypto outlets to bring more clarification and understanding and more nuance into supporting candidates in the context of crypto, because it's getting more complicated.
Yeah. Kale?
So I don't know how true this is, but I read on Twitter that this bill, or this package of 3 of them, got denied yesterday because at the last minute, somebody tried to revise it and add into the bills. They're like, hey, if we're going to release these bills, we're also going to release the Epstein client list with it. And then all the politicians were like, oh yeah, no, let's not do that. And then it got denied. And so like I read that and I was like, what? Wait, what? That's so random. So like,
from my understanding, that was a separate call for vote that was then denied. But I don't know if it was tried to shoehorn in here, but with this reality TV show we have of the government right now, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, exactly. So like I was saying, I don't know like how true that is. I thought it was crazy though. Very, very fascinating and entertaining if it is true. But yeah, like when I first heard that it was denied yesterday, it was instinctively, I kind of felt like it was a nothing burger for me, because especially like in the last 6 months, I feel like all of these crypto rules and regulations, like they've been whiplashing me, So one day we're denied and then tomorrow we're accepted and then the next day we'll be denied again. I don't know like the ins and outs of how these things work and what it really takes for these things to pass. So when I heard that it was denied yesterday, I was just like, whatever, it'll pass eventually.
Par for the course, yeah.
Yeah.
And I also, because we're 7 months into this presidency with a bunch of initiatives to provide clarity and a bunch of like different committees and stuff. Nothing's really been done as far as like actual clarity or, meaningful actions. So I'm still waiting for stuff to be like, okay, do the thing. Speaking of doing the thing, so Amazon and Walmart talking about stable coins. And for me, this kind of goes back to what I was talking about the other day about, the Starbucks model of load your wallet with a bunch of credits or whatever. And this is kind of a no-brainer for me. I don't know why it needs to be stable coins, but it could just load my Amazon gift card balance that's associated with my account. But I mean, I also think it's like these two companies that are, one is a tech company that's stagnated, and the other one is a stagnant company that's trying to be a tech company. Walmart had the option to buy Amazon and they passed on it. And then Amazon overtook them. And then Walmart's like, well, we need to come up with a, Amazon Prime competitor. And they've been playing catch up ever since. This feels like a bunch of lip service from both of them, trying to like catch a PR hype wave. And I don't expect anything to come out of it just because, the Amazon interface and tech has not evolved in the last 10 years and still looks like crap, unusable on the phone. But what are your guys' thoughts about this? Kale?
It's insane, dude. Walmart coin and Amazon coin. I don't know.
Bezos bucks. Even though he's not even there anymore, I like to just call Bezos bucks.
I mean, it goes hard. Bezos bucks goes hard. But I think that it's a step in the right direction. But obviously, it's not like the end game. I don't think 10, 20 years from now, there's not going to be a McDonald's coin and a Taco Bell coin and a Starbucks coin. And, but I do think this is a step in that right direction. Like you said about the Starbucks reward thing, because this type of thing totally opens that possibility up for all of these retailers and whatnot, so there is alignment. But yeah, I don't think like every single company having their own stablecoin is the way.
Katya? Furiously Googling stuff to tell us we're wrong.
No, so I just wanted to double check that, in fact, Walmart in first place and Amazon are the biggest companies in the US by revenue. And the interesting part is that if they decide to make their own money, they have a huge chunk of the money changing hands in the United States, people buying things from Walmart and Amazon. And so I believe, I don't know the details in this, but there was a time in the United States, this is true everywhere, but we are in the United States. So before there was a federal government, centralized federal bank, banks issued their own money and it was accepted, circulated in the area where that bank was. And then if you took it elsewhere, people were like, we've never seen this before. What is this? We don't accept it. So like a feudal state of money. So this kind of opens up the door to that. It's all, if they're stable coins, they're probably all USD based. And so they're exchangeable. At least I think that's the goal. But I think it's interesting if they're not going to be accepted everywhere, they're not going to be interchangeable, which company is going to start pulling more power in terms of the users it has and then the users of this coin, of this money. And I was reading somewhere that the big credit card companies, Visa and MasterCard, are threatened by this because if everybody who shops at Walmart starts using the Walmart coin and all of the financial products that it chooses to offer, then that's a real shift in the financial distribution, usership distribution in the world, in the United States and in the world. So yeah, that's like real power, and crazy to think that just a company can come up with its own money. Not even a country, not even a county or a state or a city, but a company.
You know what I'm realizing now that I'm hearing you talk about this is this kind of opens the door for companies like Walmart and Amazon to become literal banks too. Because like if they have this much money moving through them, it's like what is really the difference between them and a bank? If they have their own currency, like Walmart coin can just create a closed Walmart ecosystem. where
And
like
not just
people are only using that and then borrowing Walmart coin and storing their savings in Walmart coin.
Yeah, exactly. And not just that, I don't know if you remember from deep in high school years of European history, city-states. Again, feudal times when there were no big countries or governments, but there were city-states and each one had its own thing. We could have company states. Like a company
No, dude.
could,
Oh no.
buy some land, run its own thing and come and live in Walmart country. I mean, we are already all living in Walmart country in the US, but
Fun fact: the you talked about the feudal state of money. That is actually why the Secret Service was first invented. It was not invented to protect the president, but it was meant to deal with counterfeiting money and dealing with all of these different currencies in the United States.
Interesting.
nice. I didn't know
And then
that.
and so they have certain like federal level power when it comes to money as a holdover because of that, which is very weird.
How convenient.
Yeah, very bizarre. I mean, for a glorified bodyguard now, like they're like, well, I can also. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah.
But yeah, we are well on our way to those company estates, right? We've already got a Starlink town that has their own mayor or whatever. And
Jeez, I
this
didn't
is
even
not
know that.
new. We've had company towns before, but how long before we get a company state? That is a dystopian hellscape that I'm not looking forward to.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
What I am looking forward to is talking with you two Yahoos next week. Because today we've reached the end of our episode. So thank you, dear listener, for listening in today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure you follow us on Twitter if you're not already. Leave us a review. Come say hi. We really appreciate it when people say hi. And you're looking quite well today. A lot smarter. And I love that for you. But we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.